On this video, we're going to talk about love. And not the love between God and man, but the love between me and this beautiful one. So, if you think that's interesting, you should stay tuned. All right, so today we're going to talk about a love story. And that one is between me, Adam, and this one, Kimberly. And I'm going to let Kimberly start us off. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to cover 7.5 months of life in a couple minutes. So we already tried this and it was quite long. So
this is the short version. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So we were both online, even though neither of us were really sold on that idea, but we came across each other's profiles, and through emails first and then some text chatting, we had a lot of heavy theological questions coming from one end to the other. So it was good, and he decided to fly out and see how that worked in person, meet my parents, go to church, stuff like that. And that was a really great weekend. It felt like we'd known each other for a long time. My parents were not really on board with me going and doing missions in another country when I hadn't talked about that before meeting him. So,
well, you did want to teach
missions for a few years, but not for long term. So that was a hard part of the weekend, but things went really well, and it kind of shot us into the next 6 months of trips back and forth. We had a lot of surprise visits, actually 2, where he just showed up out of nowhere, and both times I didn't see it coming. And another time when he bought me a plane ticket, like spur of the moment, and I flew out there. So a lot of fun memories, a lot of good times exploring LA and Chicago and visiting each other's homes. So good memories and food challenges and awkward moments, meeting girlfriends and all sorts of stuff. My girlfriends.
Oh.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It was just it was a fun 6 months. We look back and we talk about, oh, that was so fun to date you. This is fun too, but it's just different. So we got to April, and
we've been dating how long?
Yeah, 6 months.
Okay.
And I was really excited about moving forward, and Adam had other things going on in his heart that weren't really talked about, but I knew he had some concerns about marriage coming from a broken home, but I really didn't know how much, and I was ready to say yes at any point. So it brought us to a screeching halt in May of 2015.
Yep.
And it was very unexpected, but it was something that I trusted the Lord with, and moved forward in my life and prayed for him as he processed through that stuff.
I broke off the relationship because in my past, I had other relationships, but I always thought that it was the other person that, didn't have some sort of this or didn't have some sort of that I was looking for. But in actuality, I was just afraid of commitment.
Stop it. Get some help.
But not like commitment to get into a relationship, but commitment to get married. And so God worked through various men in my life to address that. And when I called Kimberly back sometime later to say, hey, do you want to get back in a relationship? She said, no, actually, I don't, because I don't trust you, and I
don't think you're done.
Right. I don't think you're done.
Your process.
Right. And it was actually through another Christian man who was my roommate at the Moody Theological Seminary, who actually knew Kimberly too, who called Kimberly and persuaded her to give me another chance. So through many phone conversations and all of that, we reconnected. So that was totally a work of God, because at a certain point, I didn't pursue it any further. I just left it up to the Lord, and Kimberly called me to reinitiate things again. So
definitely not something either of us expected.
Right. So then my pastors encouraged me to go out to, some of the leadership at my church encouraged me to go out to spend some time in California, because I was in Wisconsin and she was in California. So that was a couple months that I was out there and getting to know her parents. Her parents were not really sure of me at that point because I had just
Put it mildly.
really hurt their little daughter's heart. And so I totally understand that. I was a jerk. Anyway, so the Lord worked through that whole scenario, and Kimberly and I started dating again. And it was about, how many more months later?
5.
5 more months later, then she came out here, and she...
5-month break.
No.
We started talking in October, and that brings us to the end of your time in California.
Right. And then I
This is
come...
now the summer of 2016.
And Kimberly comes to Wisconsin to hang out around my area, and...
live here, work here, see if we'll get engaged here.
And after all of that, it was very clear that I was going to marry Kimberly.
Congratulations! 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 Congratulations!
So I got a ring, and on her last day of her job here, I took her out for dinner, and we sang a karaoke song together, and I proposed. So that is a very short version, around 6-7 minutes maybe. I think total this whole thing should be. So we tried to keep it short for you guys.
2 years of life in
in a very
6 minutes.
condensed thing. We have a much longer version if you want to see that, which is definitely an interesting story with a lot more details. There were a lot of more ups and downs that we didn't mention here, but we wanted to just give you a quick overview to show you that we had an awesome love story that I enjoyed dating this woman, and I enjoy even more being married to this woman. So she's very easy to love. So we look forward to being able to share more with you in the future, including about our testimonies. So look forward to that in the next one. But like I said, if you're interested in hearing more of the 30-minute version in 2 parts, click on those videos. Okay, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.